Welcome to another episode of the StoneLine Climbing Podcast. In this episode, I chat to Solly Kemball Dorey, who is one of the best boulderers in the UK at the moment. He's made first ascents of boulders up to 8C+, and also repeated as a wonder sit, which is also 8C+. He's got a wealth of development experience and climbing abroad, and we sit down and chat quite a lot about his approach to climbing, his approach to climbing trips, and we try and dig into his mentality around trying single hard boulders, as well as how he kind of approaches projects at his limit. I've known Solly for the last 4 or 5 years, and in that time we've spent a lot of time climbing together, so I've gained quite a good insight into how he climbs and operates, and for sure he's one of the best climbers I've seen at projecting something near or above his limit. He gives us a lot of knowledge on the projecting process in this podcast, so I hope that's interesting. If you enjoy the podcast, check out our Instagram and stonelineclimbing.com for more. All right, here's the man himself.
Lovely face.
All right. Nice one, mate. Thank you for sitting down to eventually have a chat. We sat in a frigid Fruit Neat Newbury household in Sheffield.
Indeed.
Pretty chilly. We got the heater on.
Well, not the boiler heater, the little
no,
fan
we got the
heater.
little electric boy. Yeah, I guess I got a bunch of stuff that I'd like to kind of chat to you about. I guess a bit of backstory. Then we've known each other. I think the first time I met you was when you came to. I think you'd only just come to South Wales.
Yeah.
And you.
Was it Neath Abbey?
Yeah, we went to Neath. Yeah. So that would have been 2021.
Yeah. 2021, like spring of 2021.
Right.
I think.
How did you come in the spring then? Before uni or?
No, maybe it was. No, because I was going to uni, and the first year, because it was COVID, I did it at home, and then the second year I managed to do most of it at home as well. But then I had to come in for the last few months, so I only moved up in the spring to my brother's.
Right. Okay. So you were like, whatever, 6 months into the degree.
Yeah. Well, like a year and a half.
Or to the second year.
Yeah, 6 months into
before
the second year.
you actually came to Wales to do the degree that you were meant to do. Wow. All right. So you
I
did.
think it's something like that. Anyway.
You did your degree in Cardiff, which is obviously So we met then when you moved to South Wales. But what I guess I know a bit, but it'd be good to like know a bit more about what your climbing looked like up until that point. Like your dad's a lifelong climber, isn't he?
Yeah. So my dad's a trad climber. I think he got into it when he was at uni, I believe. And he, like, growing up, I've got an older brother and sister, but they never got into climbing. Right. And for some reason I did, and I really enjoyed it. And then he managed to get me into the comp scene, which I was in for a bit. And it was good fun.
Yeah.
But I then transitioned to outdoor bouldering probably like when I was 16, because I went on a trip with my coach at the time, Tom Bunn, and we went to Switzerland, and I just was like, this is so much more fun than being inside a gym. Yeah. Like, I really enjoy the outdoors, like being outside. Yeah. So just basically there and then switched focus to that. And then been climbing outdoors ever since. And I basically was doing all the boulders in the southwest until I'd done most of them on the coast, and then I had to start developing, which is what I've done the most of down there, I'd say.
So were you starting to kind of develop stuff from as soon as you started bouldering outside there?
Not as soon as I started bouldering outside. I did a bunch of the classics I found, and then I became really good mates with Kyle, Whitehand and Ruby, and they really enjoyed going out and searching for boulders, and like they'd found this boulder that was right next to my house, and I was like, oh, this is so cool that we can, there's something so close to my home that no one's climbed before. And then I was like, oh, well, I can do this the whole way along the coast. And so like we all got into doing that quite a lot, and just became
before you left.
Yeah, before I left to come up to Cardiff. That was like the last, I'd say, year and a half I was at home all I was doing was developing, just adding new lines to the coast.
I guess in that sense, then we were kind of like doing it for similar reasons. In this starts out as kind of necessity.
Yeah.
Like you do the stuff, you do what's there, or the majority of what's there, and then you're kind of left. Well, what else do? I either get, I'm either training or I'm looking for stuff that's new. So that's pretty cool.
But then I think once you start developing, I don't know about for you, you just get like it's a whole experience in itself.
Yeah.
Because I find when you go do established boulders, you've got all the beta, like so many people have already done them. So you've got, if you're short, you look at this person's beta. If you're tall, you look at this person's beta. But when you find a block, no one else has done it. So you've got to find the beta. And I guess you can have that experience by going to established blocks and just not looking at beta and working it out for yourself. But
it's harder to do.
It's hard. One, it's harder to do, especially when you want to do blocks. Like you're like, I'll do the easiest thing.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's the thing. I don't. I mean, I really see both sides of it. Where you want to, like, you want to learn the skills of working out boulder problems. Yeah. But if you're going to repeat the boulder problem, you want to do it, and you want to do it probably as quickly as you can, so you can move on to the next one. So I do think in that realm there's this balance of when you're repeating boulders of whether you should do them with no beta and as little information as you can, no vids and stuff, and then almost the opposite of trying to gain as much information as you possibly can. And I guess from that perspective, when you're developing stuff, you're just naturally like thrust into it.
Yeah.
And I do think I 100% think that that's a really valuable skill set to have. But I think that a lot of people don't get it because they've not been like thrust into it, and they don't consciously make the choice to force themselves into it.
I mean, there's so many boulders now everywhere, and I guess it depends where you are and where you're from. That like if you're in Sheffield, it's hard to find a new boulder, and when there's the plethora of boulders already and routes, you're just like, well, I'll just go do this other king line just around the corner instead of going searching. But it's just
and there's videos of so many like almost everything now, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think like when I started bouldering, probably when you started as well, which is probably a similar time, there were videos of like maybe really popular things, but a lot of stuff, especially locally, I'd imagine in the southwest and definitely in South Wales, you just have to go and ask people.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you do with this? What did you do with that? And then you're kind of making it up.
I think the only people that used to film were like the pros. Like nowadays, everyone's got their camera out. They've all got their phones. Whereas back then, it's just the videos of the pros going to these areas.
Yeah, and then that's how you ended up with like actual climbing films.
Yeah.
Because those guys for quite a long period weren't filming themselves. No. At least not the really top guys. They were being filmed by productions really. And then I think it was like, you had people like Carlo, Traversi and Paul, that they started kind of taking, I think, the like video game into their own hands a bit, and saying, okay, well, I think they were almost doing it from the perspective of, why would I? Because they knew that the production guys were getting paid by the climbers' sponsors to make the videos. So they were like, why don't I just make the video
and I'll get
of myself,
double pay,
and I'll get I'll get a salary, and I'll get maybe some video production money. So it kind of, I suppose it makes sense from that perspective. So when you moved to South Wales, I guess it probably like started again for you. Did you just I know South Wales it's not a mecca, but you had plenty of shit to.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff to do. Like I had all of your boulders to go at because and Fifes and a lot of them, and Simon's and so it was like, well, I've got all these boulders to do, so I'll go do them. So like you start by ticking off all of the ones that you can do, until you get to like, I try to go for the ones that I think are the best. So like I'll go try do the ones that I think are the best for the area first. And then you can like supplement whether you want to go finding your own boulders or not. And I think I didn't add that much to South Wales, but the boulders I did, it was just through like accidentally stumbling upon these boulders and going, oh, I'm here, may as well try it. But that was probably because there was so many other boulders in the area for me to try.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I'm kind of interested, and I think I've wanted to ask you about this for a while. I think the first trip we ever did together was we went to Switzerland for 2 weeks. And
Yes.
in that trip, I think we mostly just tried 8A to 8B things.
Yeah.
And did maybe like, I don't know, a dozen or something in 2 weeks. I think we did like over 10 each, I think, in that 2 weeks. And since then, I haven't been on a trip with you or seen you go on a trip where you haven't tried something, where you've done that. I've seen you just go and try things pretty much at your limit, or maybe just below your limit. So I'm curious as to why.
I think most of the trips I've done since then have been like to Switzerland, where I've been so many times, and like when I went with you, I'd already been like multiple times before, and I'd kind of done all the boulders at the grade range below 8B that I really wanted to do, and so it's more, I really want to go do these particular boulders now, where like, I just want to do this one boulder. I'm not that fussed about going around and doing loads of 8As to 8Bs. Like,
it doesn't interest you.
It doesn't interest me as much. I enjoy trying hard, and I think I've realised this more recently. Like, we've been going on trips, and I think when we went to try, and I did Story of Two, it was like we tried doing it where we'd have a day on a proj, and then we'd go try some other boulders, and then we'd have a rest day. I don't know if you remembered that or not. Do you remember doing that?
I wish that was my recollection of it, but I climbed like nothing on that trip. So my recollection of it was just trying Dreamtime and not doing it.
Yeah, but we went and did like Le Preux, and I mean, to be fair, I went and did Alphane Moon, and you'd already done that. So maybe it was more me going and doing some other stuff.
All right, so
and I found that.
What other boulders can you name from that trip then that you did? Because I reckon it's Le Preux, Alphane Moon, and Dagger and Story. I reckon that's it.
That's probably. I did Dreamtime Stand.
Okay.
Well.
All right.
But,
okay. So you did like 5.
I did 5.
So to go from like,
but that was
10
weeks.
that first trip we did to like suddenly then doing 5.
Yeah, I just found that I'm not as interested in it.
Yeah,
I just enjoy trying harder.
Yeah.
I found that even if I don't do the boulders, like on my most recent trip, I did Vecchio, and then the weather wasn't great, but I was like, I want to do more 8Bs, so I went and tried Flash Flood, but then I was also trying Unison, but I just wasn't that psyched on Flash Flood. I was like, I just want to go try Unison and try hard on small crimps. I just want to pull hard and see what happens. And I think it's more, with the 8Bs and the 8As, I can figure out what I've got to do quicker, and even if I don't necessarily do them, it's like, well, I've figured that boulder out.
So
I don't need to.
Does it lose some of its interest then when you like, I can kind of do this?
Yeah.
So
I guess
does then it become like, well, I can't be asked to come back for a second or third session on this when I could be like 4 or 5 deep into something
more
C or something that I guess I don't have the leading factor or motivator for me isn't the trying hard. It's usually to do something that I want to do for whatever reason it might be. Like it might be that, you know, for Dreamtime it was because it was Dreamtime, or you know, somewhere else it might be like in Magic it was practice because it was practice. But it seems like you're the actual process of finding something that's really hard and trying it and going through that process is something that interests you more almost than like doing stuff.
Yeah, I'd say so. I do agree with you where you're like, I want to go do this boulder, and that's what I want to go do, and it doesn't really matter about the grade. So like, I will go and do boulders at lower grades if I really want to do them. But I think I've realised I only like trying one boulder at a time as well.
Right, okay. You don't like having like 2 things on.
I don't like having 2 things on.
Why not?
I just like getting stuck in on this one boulder and just being like, oh, it's eating at my mind. Whereas if I got 2 on the go, I'm not focused on one fully.
Okay.
And
that's really interesting.
I found that
different like that.
Yeah, recently on the 50, I'll go have a session, and I've got a project in a minute. I'll try it, and then I'll be like gassed. but I'm like, I can still climb. I just can't climb on this boulder in this particular style. But I'm just not that interested in climbing on anything else.
Right.
And I find it hard to then go and try other boulders in different styles. It's like, yeah, but I could just go try the project. That's all I want to do. That's the reason I'm here.
Because one of the things I was going to ask you is why, you know, look around and you see other climbers that are maybe stronger than you, you know, climb harder on a board than you, or can do, you know, better feats of strength than you. Why they necessarily don't get things done outside that you do. Is that actual desire just to try something hard and get kind of consumed by it?
I reckon so. I think
is.
it's just it like my life then revolves around the boulder almost. Like I'll just get stuck into it, and it's all I want to do. It's all I'll train for. If I really want to do a boulder, and I'm thinking, I just too weak in this one particular area, I'll just go and train that one area, and I'll never be as psyched for training as when it's like I know I need to do this for this boulder.
For the one boulder.
Because most of the training is just, I'm just ticking along, trying to get better in every aspect. And it's like, okay, nice.
So is that right now?
Yeah, at the minute I'd say I don't have a particular focus. And it's because I haven't got my teeth sunk into a boulder. I'm like, I need to go do this.
What do you think the next one could be then?
I have no clue.
Really?
I genuinely no clue at all.
Or interests you then? Because I guess, you know, you're in Sheffield now, so you've got a lot of stuff on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Is it trip? I know you got some trips next year. But
Yeah, I got
is
some
stuff here or
trips next year. There's nothing in Sheffield in the peak that I think I'll get stuck into, and it'll be my project. Maybe in the summer, but then the issue is I probably won't be here in the summer. But when it's maybe in the spring when it's lime season, even though I don't like limestone, I could see myself getting stuck into some of the limestone. Whereas I think for the grit, because it's, I don't know why I don't feel like I could get sunk into a boulder on the grit.
What about something like Smiling Buttress? Like, we looked at that today, and that does look amazing.
It does look amazing. And maybe I've just got to go try it, I think. Once I find a boulder and I've tried it, looking at a boulder for me isn't enough to go, I really want to do this. I like Smiling Buttress, amazing line. Voyager, amazing line. But I haven't even tried them yet. And I want to do both of them. I'd love to do both of them. But I tried Careless the other day, and now that's all I want to do.
Right, okay. So that was what I was going to ask. I was going to say, well, you know, you've tried Careless, and obviously you know you can do it.
Yeah.
And you've tried the Ace, and presumably you think you could do that as well.
Yeah.
So you are now motivated to go back to those things, rather than to go and try something that might consume you.
Yeah. I think my brain just changes.
Right.
I think I've just done projecting.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to ask. Are you kind of project fatigued for a bit?
Potentially, I guess so. But then I kind of think at the minute my project is on the 50 board. Like I've had 8 sessions on this project.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. I've never been psyched on indoor climbing. So that's
enough just to satisfy that
curiosity.
Urge. It's just that board.
And I think at the minute, because I can only climb on the weekends. It's quite hard to get stuck into a boulder.
Okay.
For me, in the summer when I've got a project down south, I'll be going to that block 3 times a week.
So okay then, you did Trident this year, which was the second HC Plus you've done, and that was a harder finish to the one you did before, yeah?
Yeah.
And you were, so through the summer you were trying that 3 days a week?
Yeah.
Shit. How are you managing with skin trying that? Because it's sharp, isn't it?
It's sharp. When I'm on the boulder, I'm very particular about like, okay, my skin's getting bad now, I'll stop.
Right.
I know that I can get enough out of the session before my skin gets bad.
Okay.
That I can just cut it off then, and then I can go do some training instead of just battering the skin. And I think I didn't find it too bad on the skin this year for some reason.
Right.
It was
compared to last year.
Compared to
or the year before.
When I was trying Poseidon's. it was I had like a line in my middle finger that was there.
Were you sanding the holes, or did you comfortise it?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
I
Holes don't just get more comfy overnight. You know? You must have
Maybe
done
it was
something.
the sea. It was Poseidon.
It was Poseidon.
He felt good
Convenient,
for me.
like.
Yeah, I don't.
But you could climb on it 3 days a week.
Climbing it 3 days a week.
So
occasionally too. Not every week. I'd be climbing on it 3 times.
Okay. But was it because whenever I've seen you projecting, pretty much like we went to Magic Wood in 22. You did New Baseline.
Yeah.
Yes, doing Story of Two Worlds, and some of Foundation's Edge. The projecting I've seen you undertake has been linear. Like you've progressed every session. There's not really, to my recollection, any like back steps you took. It was just each session gets a little bit better. Was it like that on Poseidon or on Trident?
No, actually, it wasn't. I've just realised, because I was like, oh yeah, most of them it is. But the Trident, when I got there this summer, and this was probably mainly due to conditions, the first few weeks I was like, oh, I'm going to do this next week. And then it took me the rest of the summer to do.
Right.
And it was maybe it's me thinking that I'm closer to doing the boulder than I am. And I think a lot of the time I'll do all the moves on a boulder and go, oh, I'll do the boulder next session. Just like naive completely. But I think as long as you're gaining something from each session, if you learn anything, it's a successful session. And even if you feel like you haven't, your body might have. I'll go try my project and I won't do it, but I'll be like, oh, I got to the exact same place I did last session. I haven't learned anything. But your body is almost training on that block by doing that.
So yeah, I mean, I get that. So you're just sort of, you're thinking, okay, this may not be, like a new high point, or I might have even not got to the same point that I might have got to before because of conditions or skin or whatever. Yeah. But you're thinking of it as like just putting a bit in the bank. You're just
money
banking
in the bank.
Movement on it constantly. Okay, that's probably like, I think, a pretty good way to look at it, but probably I don't think everyone's able to. Are you always able to look at it like that?
I think so. Like most of the time, I think I am stuck on the way that once I've done all the moves, I can do the boulder. It's just a matter of time.
And the time scale doesn't bother you?
It doesn't. No. I think
obviously it does on a trip.
It does on a trip, and you do have to go, okay, I've got the pressure on. But sometimes that pressure it just means you do it quicker.
Seems to work for you. I mean, the only time I think I've seen you where you were more doubtful, you're like, I don't know if I can do this, was with Foundations. Because I remember you saying like, you had a session, you either have 1 or 2 rest days, and you're like, I'm still feeling pretty sore from the last session. Yeah. And it was, I think it wasn't the last chance, was it, that day? Because
it was basically that. Well, if I didn't do that, I'd have to get up.
You'd have to climb second day on.
Yeah, 2 days on.
Yeah.
And it was, I think logistically it was a nightmare, because also you wanted to do your project, which was not in the same area. So it was like, well, I've got to do it today, because otherwise it's going to be a faff. But I mean, I was looking at getting a later plane. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. You were considering just staying, so it wasn't necessarily going to be the end of the road anyway, was it? And at some time, I mean, I've done that on trips. I've extended trips to do stuff, but I've also like convinced myself that I could extend my trip to do stuff. Yeah. Like, Magic Wood 2018, I did New Baseline. I did it on the same again, like the last day. But I remember saying to Morgan I was with, I was like, if I don't do it today, I'll just stay here another week. Yeah. So, and whether or not you would end up going through with it, you don't really know. But then I guess you don't need to find out, which is the
it's always nice.
The good thing. I was going to ask you as well about being coached, because I guess you've been coached for most of your climbing, or most of your bouldering anyway. Yeah.
I mean, I was coached by Tom Bunn from like maybe 12 to 16, or maybe even later than that. And then I think I started with Dave in 2020, so like when I was 19, 20. Yeah. So I mean, all the training I did with Tom was for comps.
Yeah.
And then when I transitioned to outdoor bouldering, he actually went away for a year. So it was kind of like, well, I'm just left to my own devices.
How was that then?
I just didn't train. I just went out and climbed constantly.
Was that the year just before you moved to South Wales?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was the two summers before.
Right.
And I remember that summer, and I was climbing outdoors like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I kind of missed that, but I wasn't doing boulders as quickly. Like, I'd spend 5 sessions on a boulder in a week.
Right.
Kind of, or like
the same
multiple,
boulder?
Not the same
right,
boulder.
okay.
I'd probably like a few different boulders on the go then, because I'd just be developing. So it'd be like, go find this boulder.
And you can, I think you can do it. You can climb more days on when you're developing, because a lot of the time you're just faffing about landings, cleaning, whatever. And I guess you can, the days change in intensity, don't they? You might do a 7C one day, you might do
and you don't know what you don't know what the
and you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So unless you find 8Cs every day, you're probably like you're varying it a bit. So how do you feel being coached then for this sort of period has benefited or influenced your climbing, and how do you feel like now? Can you see a world where you go back to not being coached?
I don't know if I see a world where I'd see a world where I'd stop being coached. I'd just way further down the line than I can think of. I think there's a lot more to coaching than just here, do these exercises. And I think with Dave, particularly for me, most of the coaching is like mental, like how I'm feeling, or like when I'm on a trip, like what do I need to do to get myself in the right headspace to do a boulder, instead of just I'll go lift up a weight. And it's not just try harder. There's a lot deeper than that, I find, quite a lot of the time. And I mean, Dave's amazing. He does so much more than you would expect. I'll just send him a video of me climbing and be like, I don't know why I can't do this move. And I'll be like, well, you're not engaging this. And then I'll try engaging that, and I'll be like,
and it works.
I'm like,
fuck. It's almost annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But it's good because
it's
just a different pair of eyes, isn't it? Somebody that's like, and Dave's climbed to such a high level and so many boulders that somebody just sees. Sees.
I think he's just
something.
very good at the movement side of climbing, which I think that's my strongest feat as well. Yeah. But I think sometimes having another set of eyes on it is always good. Yeah. And it's also nice not having to think about what training I've got to do. You just get given a plan, you do it, and as long as you're being consistent. I think the biggest thing for climbing is just consistency, like continually coming back, trying stuff. You're gonna get better.
Do you enjoy all of the stuff that you do?
Not all of it,
but you just crack on and do it.
Just crack. I mean, sometimes I don't.
Right.
And
really?
Yeah, occasionally. Like recently, more like I spent the last 2 weeks not doing any of what I should have been doing.
Right.
And that was purely because I wasn't psyched on climbing as a whole at that point.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I'd rather be psyched doing something at this time in my life than having to worry about my training. So I was just like, I'm just going to go climbing and do what I want to do, which has its downfalls because I just like trying hard. So then you're like, oh, well, if I just trying hard and I'm not doing any of my antag work, all of these things start flaring up and you're like, I'm not being sensible.
You just start to feel
just like you just feel little niggles. Like for me, it's my neck. So my neck would just be like stiff. Yeah. And then you realise that actually maybe I should do some training. Yeah. And then you get more psyched for it occasionally. I think in this particular instance, I just burnt out from lots of factors other than just the training. But when I'm in the training mode, I'll do it.
You do it
I'll
all.
do it all.
Yeah. And how often would you say you like come out of that mode? Because it normally, from what I've seen, you're
maybe
pretty
once a year.
Okay, yeah. See, so that's the thing, isn't it? I guess it's like if that's 1 week in a year, or you know, a couple of weeks in a year that you miss, and you're consistent the whole rest of the year, then that's enough, isn't it? Whereas I think what maybe you see with some people is like 2 or 3 weeks off, a couple of weeks on, few days off, week on. It's
I mean, if you get ill,
of course,
you have the day off. I'm one of the people that will not have the day off, and it will just make it worse. And you're just like, that was stupid. Yeah. But you've put yourself in a mindset of, well, I've got to do all the training, so I'll do it. And I do find that on the for me, it's the Monday. On the Monday, it's like, okay, this week, this is what I've got to do all this training. And if I haven't done it by Sunday, the Sunday's the worst session because I'll just have to do all of it.
Wow.
Which is stupid. It is stupid. Yeah. And it's not the sensible thing to do. But it's more of staying in that mindset of having to do it sometimes. Yeah. Because if I didn't, then the next week I wouldn't. And then the week after I wouldn't. Yeah. And then I'd have to reel it back in. Whereas if you do the suffering, power through it, then the next week you're like, sweet, I did it last week, I can do it this week.
Do you have like a plan? You know, do you say on a Sunday night, okay, right, this is how I'm going to structure this coming week? Or do you just...
No, not really.
On a Monday wake up and go, right, look at the plan, what shall I do today?
Yeah, it's more what shall I do today? Or like, what shall I do over the next couple of days?
Okay.
And so yesterday I did a hard board session and some triples and some pinch block. So I was like, okay, so tomorrow you're probably going to be tired from the triples. Yeah. So I'll just go do stuff some conditioning and some fingerboarding, then have a rest day. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, rest day. And then I don't have to think about anything until the rest day. Yeah. And at the end of the rest day, or the day after, where I'm like, okay, today I've got to do some training, I'll think about what I've got to do on that day.
And you generally, 1-2 days on a row?
Yeah.
Anytime 3?
I mean, when I go climbing outdoors, I'll occasionally go 3 or 4. I mean, yeah. I don't know what you people mean by days on a row, because I do some form of training quite almost every day, a lot of the time. Like some rest days, I'd probably do a conditioning session or a fingerboard session, but it's active rest day.
So you may not have a day in the week where you don't do anything. I'm not saying like yoga or whatever. I mean core conditioning, fingerboarding.
I mean, most weeks I'll have a day.
Okay, one day.
At least one day. Sometimes 2, but I find if I have 2, then it means I've got to have a bigger session.
You've got to fit more in those days, in those 5 days. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
But I think that's generally down to weather most of the time. If the weather's good on the weekend, I'll go out both days.
Yeah. And then I've got to ram it into.
I've got to do all my training somewhere around that.
Yeah. So going back then to kind of asking you about sort of how you think you get these boulders done, and sometimes others who are stronger than you don't. Is there any other things you think you see, you know, other people you maybe climbed with, or that you think, like they don't have this or they don't have that, or...
I don't think they have... It's not that they don't have anything. It's that they almost don't persevere, or they don't... Like, they just think sometimes all I've got to do is go and train.
Okay.
And sometimes it's not that you've got to go and train. It's that you've just got to go and try the boulder more. And I guess maybe that just works for me because that's how I've always thought. I've always thought, if I carry on trying this boulder, I'll eventually do it. And maybe that doesn't work for everyone, but I think you're not gonna do the boulder if you're not trying the boulder. Some of the time.
Do you think people are reluctant to go climbing instead of, they'd prefer to train and think, if I get 10% stronger, I'll just do the boulder?
I think a lot of people want to do a boulder as quickly as they possibly can, and I think they think, if I do it in a session, that's so good. Yeah, but you've spent all this time training for this one session that you may or may not do it. Whereas if you did it in 3 sessions and you actually just went and tried it over 3 weeks or whatever, or you did it in 10 sessions, but it took you 3 weeks instead of training for that 6 months to be able to do it in a session. It's like,
so do you think there's more learning in the having multiple sessions on something than.
Yeah, I think you just got to go and get on the rock.
Like, where do you think you've learned the most in your climbing?
I think it was from that summer where
you climbed every day.
I climbed 5 days a week. I basically went from like climbing 8A plus to 8B plus in that, or like 8A to 8B plus in that summer. And
just through climbing 5 days a week, you think?
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the best thing to do. But
yeah, so that's interesting, because I guess if you see that as being something that was the most beneficial to your climbing, and yet now you don't do that at all.
Well, the thought process behind that was, this is very egotistical. I thought I was good enough at climbing. I was like, I'm good enough at climbing. I'm just weak. And I was.
This was at the tail end of that.
At the tail end of that, I was like, look, I've done all these boulders, and yeah, they took me way more sessions than most people would take to do them, but I managed to find the easiest possible way, and I climbed my way through them instead of powering my way through them. But then I thought, well, if I want to try and take it up to that next level, I've got the climbing. I don't know how much more climbing I'd have to do to get better at climbing, whereas I could just get a bit stronger. Okay. But I've been trying to get a bit stronger for the last 5 years.
Well, it's clearly working, isn't it? Because I mean, I'm pretty sure when you climbed on the school board in the years past, you haven't done stuff. I mean, you were struggling to climb 8A on there, and now yesterday
I was struggling to climb 7C on there.
Now you're telling me you're doing triples on 8As on there, so you've clearly. Do you feel like you've gained the strength level in the last year or two?
Yeah, but I don't even think that's strength.
Well, it must be. It's a board.
No, but I think I genuinely think from that board, it's learning the board and getting better at climbing on that board and climbing on those holds.
So you think enough time on anything will make you good at the thing?
As long as you're actually thinking about what you're doing. If you just and you're pushing yourself. I go on the board and I'm pushing myself every session that I'm on there.
What does that look like when you say pushing yourself? Like
trying really hard moves, trying moves that I can't do, trying to link moves that are at my limit. In a triple session, I don't want to be completing all the sets. I want to be absolutely gassed at the end of it. And if I fall off, you get back on and you carry on trying anyway.
It seems like you, just from a perspective of, knowing a little bit about what you do and a bit about why you would do and seeing what other people have done, seems like you're either in that place where you're doing single moves or 2 moves or 3 moves and really struggling to link those together, or you're in like ANCAP mode of doing triples and getting absolutely like cooked. But I've not seen, I don't know, do you go into sessions or have you had board sessions where you might run through like, let's say 8 to 10 boulders that are hard? Yes, you don't do, but then I've seen Will do that. So I guess that's just, I've seen Will like.
Yeah, but I don't think they're hard to Will. The boulders that you're seeing Will do, they're not hard to him.
They're not, but
they're like me running through 7Cs, him running through 8Bs.
Okay, so you don't see any benefit then for you in running through 7Cs?
I don't think so. No. I think if you wanna go do a load of 7Cs, go do a load of 7Cs on the board and get good at climbing 7C. I don't want to go do a load of 7Cs. I want to go do.
So why is Will doing it? I'm interested. I don't know. I know. I'm genuinely interested. I know there's many ways to skin a cat, and I'm sure that that's not just what Will's doing. No. I guess maybe he's doing that sort of session and then spending a day on something that's really hard outside. And I guess when you're in a period where you're climbing more on rock, you might be doing that hard board session. You're doing it outside.
Yeah, I would.
And then the triples and the volume is kind of coming from the indoor climbing.
I think at the minute, because I only climb in if I'm lucky, 2 days outside a week, I do all my hard climbing indoors. Whereas, I mean, this is the least amount of outdoor climbing I've had in my training program ever. It was just 1 day a week. When I was in South Wales, it'd be I'm having 2 days.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
And I might have
I might climb 2 or 3 days outside. So is that you, or is that Dave, or is that something you've discussed?
I mean, I think when I moved up here, I was psyched to get into training because I thought, right, I'm in Sheffield, I'm going to be in the schoolroom, I'm going to have a good scene to train.
Yeah.
Let's just write this year off as training, almost, because I'm working for money. I was like, I'm going to be stressed constantly from just like physically and mentally. There's no point in then trying to
perform as well.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And I will try and perform on certain things, but I don't necessarily think this year it'll be I'm going to be trying 9As or another 8C plus. Yeah. Next year, that would be nice.
Next year, what are we talking? When you say next year, you mean like from September onwards? Yeah, okay. Academic.
But I mean, I've got trips lined up, so I'm going to go to Turkey for a week. That's going to be developing, so that I'll just feel like I'm back in Bude, just romping around. Yeah. And when I'm developing, I'm not looking for the 8Cs. I'm only there for a week. I'll probably I'll be psyched if I got an 8B, but I probably won't. It'll probably just be like 8As. I think. Whereas then Rocklands, I'll be there for 3 weeks, and I'll probably just be trying 1 or 2 boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 1? Because
I haven't decided.
You might get sucked into 1. Do you think? Or
I'll get sucked into 1, but it's depending on how quick I do that 1.
Right.
And it depends which
And you think is that more likely to be finish line?
I want to do finish line, and I will do finish line at some point in my life, as long as I don't break my legs too much. Yeah. But the issue with finish line is the logistics. Yeah. If the logistics are right, there's people there with pads who are psyched to try it. Yeah, I'll get on finish line. But if it's not, I don't think there's any point in beating myself up and trying it with 2 pads. It's I may as well go to Monkey Wedding.
I was going to ask what the other one would be. It's
between those two.
It would be those. Okay, yeah, cool. Oh, well, hopefully you pick Monkey Wedding and we'll climb together.
But that's the other thing. I'm like, well, I know Eliot's going to be trying Monkey Wedding, so I could go have a 6 session with Eliot, and I know it's going to be good, because whenever I feel like every time I have a session with you, I learn something. Right. Even if you don't even realise it, I'm like, oh, Eliot does this. Maybe I'll think about doing it. And a lot of the time I'm too lazy, because you're meticulous. And
I wish I was.
I think you are, though.
Right.
Like, you're always thinking about, okay, how did I do that wrong? Whereas sometimes I'm like, I just fell off because I'm weak, or I'm just not good enough, and I'll just try it. I'll just keep trying the same move the same way until eventually it works.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask, when you said about coming up here and training, what? Because I mean, I know you like to climb with other people, but I know you climb pretty well on your own as well.
Yeah.
Are you more psyched here in the training kind of scene to train with other people?
Yeah, I want to train with people that are stronger than me.
Yeah.
That's how you get better, I think. It's just going on a board. Like I think most people in Sheffield on that 50 are stronger than me.
Right.
Or most people that I've had a session with on. But not necessarily outside. Whereas if I'm training with them on that board, and I can somehow get to
even if you can get close
to them,
yeah,
and then I can go outside and I somehow keep that, it should be going up.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And I'm quite competitive.
Yeah.
I think I'm with friends, and I'm normally friendly with it. I'm not mean, but it's like, oh, he's done that move. That means I've got to do that move. Oh, he's done it in 2 halves. Oh, I got to do it in 2 halves now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I know that's kind of how you are, and I'm maybe sometimes competitive as well at times. And I tell you what, there's always that. I think there will always be a little bit of that thing, like, oh, he's just pulled that out of the bag.
Yeah,
I gotta pull that out of the bag. And the thing that I can't remember if I've said this to you before, but the thing that really did, you're never like wanting your friend to fall, but you're wanting, when you see your friend doing something, you're like, I want to do this now. Right? I'm gonna be pissed if I don't do this. But when we did that couple of days in North Wales, did that challenge.
Yeah.
I've never wanted you to do a boulder so much before. You know.
I completely forgot that was such a great challenge.
It really did change the perspective for me of climbing with somebody who's like a really good friend that you've climbed with loads.
Yeah.
I was like, I just wanted you so much more to do the boulder than I did before.
Yeah.
Because it was, I mean, I guess the selfishness comes out. It's like, I want it for me as well as for you. So, but yeah, I was like, I remember thinking, God, like I pray he does this and doing like brush the holes for you and doing absolutely every little thing. I don't know, maybe there's a team aspect to it. I think that was what it really felt like, was that.
I mean, most of climbing and bouldering it's your own sport that you go do with your mates.
Yeah.
But when you're on the rock, it's just you and the rock.
Yeah.
Your mates might be behind you cheering you on, but you're the one who's got to climb it.
Yeah.
Whereas in that aspect, it was like, between us, we've got to do the Austin 16, we've got to do 16, 18, 8As. And so between us, we had to. So it was like, right.
Everyone you did, or I did, was one less that we had to do as a team. Yeah, and I think
it's one step closer to the goal for both of us.
Exactly. Yeah, I knew, it was a stupid kind of little arbitrary thing, but I just remember the last day when we were on red sapphire, black sapphire, pink sapphire, or whatever it was. Yeah, because I remember the other thing that I noticed is it pushed me so much more.
Yeah.
Than I'm reasonably good at pushing myself when I need to, like if it's on a trip or on a day. I'm quite good at that. But that day I was like, man, I've had to dig into the tank today, because I think we got to that boulder with what
I think we had 2 or 3 8As we had to do between us.
Right.
Because
we did go somewhere after that as well.
Yeah, we went
did. But I think we must have needed 2 or 3 on that each, because there's it's essentially one 8A that has 3 different finishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, did you do 2 of them?
I think I did 2.
So we must have needed 3, because I didn't do any of them. But I remember
I thought you did 1 of them.
Maybe I did 1 of them.
I think you must have done 1.
I must have done 1 of them. But basically, I remember being like, oh, I think that was it. We both did one of them. And it was like, you'd already.
I remember I tapped out. I was
tapped out, and I was like,
it's all you, mate.
It's
you're
all
like,
you.
You're gonna have to do
it.
I think we needed 2.
2.
But I think we were relying on the one that I'd done on the way up.
Yeah.
Because I think I did it on the way up, and you were like, I'm not doing that.
No.
And then we're like, okay, we'll save it for the way back. It's like an hour drive, but like back south, so we'll save it. But then I think we'd both done.
This one of the A's.
I was like, no, I've tapped out.
And then I couldn't do it.
And then you didn't do it. And I was
couldn't
like,
do it.
And
you were like, I'll have a go. And then you did it
again.
Did you?
Yeah. I got going again, and then I did it. And then all you had to do then was that.
Just the one.
Was that last one.
The last
which
one.
Did.
And then it was raining as I topped out.
And you literally topped out in the rain as well. Perfect. Yeah, that was a good day, and it was a good couple of days. And we were trying aisles in amongst that as well, so we weren't even just.
It wasn't 16 8As. It was also 1 or 2 sessions on HC+.
Try HC+ as well. Yeah.
But I think what you're alluding to as well is you weren't just, if you failed, it wasn't just you failing me. Or if I failed, it's not just me. I've let you down.
Yeah.
I remember it stung so much when I can't do this boulder. My bicep my bicep just was cramping up. And I was like, I can't do this, Eliot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've not just let myself down, and it'll be fine, because I've dealt with that so much where I'm like, I can't do this, whatever. It's like, no, me not being able to do it means that Eliot fails as well.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck.
Yeah. It was good. It was a really unique thing, because I just you don't do it.
No.
I mean, I know you can have days where we go out together, you do something and I do something, even if it's the same thing or different things, and you both win.
Yeah.
But it's still not a team thing, is it?
No.
You're not doing it for like one shared goal. They're like 2 separate goals. Your goal to do your thing, my goal to do my thing. And okay, we both get to succeed, but it's not like, okay, we've both got this goal to do this one challenge together. And I think that's where like I was more willing to be pushed by you, and I think maybe we pushed each other, which I think was really good. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned briefly there about failure, and like on that day, if you didn't do it, you were kind of like failing me as well. How have you kind of generally dealt with failure? Because I know I guess Isles is maybe one of the bigger kind of project and experiences that you've had, and you had to go on 3 separate kind of month-long trips
Yeah.
and walk away from it twice.
Yeah.
Did it feel like failure walking away from it those times, or was it like, okay, shit, I've not done it, but I'm coming back, so it doesn't really matter?
I mean, in those 2 instances, you're gutted because it's like, I haven't done it. There was both times that I left, though, I did injure myself, so I was kind of like, there's nothing I can do about this situation now. But that doesn't change how gutting it feels.
Sorry, yeah. So you had to walk away those 2 times.
Yeah.
I guess because of injury.
Yeah. So I had to walk away because of injury, which is it's gutting. But I just knew I would be coming back for it. I think when I get so invested in the climb, it's not alright. That's it. Alright, it's defeated me. I'll be back, and I'll train to make sure that I will do it next time.
Yeah. It didn't, because I guess with Isles, you might have had to walk away for, because when was the first time you tried it? 22, 23?
Yeah, 22. When did I do it? I did it in 24, so I think it was May of 23.
All right.
And then I did it in May of 24.
So over a course of a year then.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Well, no, to be fair, I did Isles in February of 23.
Ah, okay.
The stand.
Right.
And then didn't have a proper trip to do it until May, which I was there for a month.
Yeah.
And I think I maybe had a week left of my trip before I slipped over and subluxed my shoulder and was like, well, I've got to go now because it's all in your right shoulder and I've just messed that up. And then went back in November, and in the first week I fell off of Snapdragon and just busted my back. I was like, oh.
So that kind of scuppered you for
that. I tried staying, and then I tweaked it again. I was like, right, that's it. I'm done. Because it is very lower back intensive.
Yeah.
So there's nothing I could do. But then I almost had to walk away when I actually did it, because I did it on the last day. I'd extended my trip by 2 days so that I could have 2 rest days, and then last hour, and was injured from it. Anyway, on the top out, like
couldn't write it. So I guess in that perspective, you didn't maybe necessarily have any kind of backwards process on it, but I guess you would have had to have like reacquainted yourself, because I remember you saying, I think on the last trip where you went to do it, I remember you saying like, oh, I can't do the start again.
No, it was very. I thought on the first trip I was like almost getting through the sit section, and in my head I was like, once I get through the sit section, it's done, because I had the stand on lock, which isn't the case, of course.
Yeah, where you're still climbing into 8B, aren't you?
Yeah, but in your mind you're just like, okay, just do that. So I was like, oh, I'm pretty close. So then to come back a year later and basically felt like I had to start at square one again.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it mattered at that time. It was like, why has this happened? I've trained all year for this. I'm stronger, but I can't do the moves, and they're not feeling easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is quite a hard thing to get your head around. But you kind of you have to get your head around it.
So you just persevered then. You were like, well, I'm here. I want to do this boulder.
Yeah,
I'm not just going to leave.
I'm not just going to leave. I'm not going to go try another boulder.
I'm just going to sit and
I'm just going to sit
it out
and work out why it's harder.
Was there a reason, or did you just need to get going on it again and kind of...
I think it was learning the movement. I think my body is quite slow at learning the movement, but once I've learnt it and I'm coming back to it 2 or 3 days later, it's ingrained in it. Whereas if you leave it a year, it just goes.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've noticed about you a lot, actually, is when we've been on trips, it might take you longer, let's say sometimes longer than me to do a move.
Yeah.
But then once you do it, you can do it every go.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes it's like I could do it quickly, but then sometimes I lose it and I'm like, I don't understand now why I can't do this. I wonder, sometimes it's a strength thing, sometimes it's a mental thing? But you
I
seem
have
really good at that. Just
absolutely no idea how.
yeah.
But then I find boulders harder when I don't get that, because occasionally it doesn't happen where it's like, oh, this low percentage move. I'm rubbish on low percentage moves. That's why for me, Husserl took me forever, because I found that move out so low percentage. Even in isolation,
Right.
I wouldn't do it every go. Whereas
Right.
for me, most moves, if I can do it, once I've warmed up into the move,
You can just.
I can just do that move on repeat. With
Wow.
as long as you're not adding moves in, and then when you're adding moves in, it obviously makes it harder. But for some reason, I
Is
don't know
that something
why.
you're conscious of then? Is adding moves into hard moves that you can do?
Yeah, I wouldn't always. You don't just do the hard moves and then go from the ground. It's like, right, these are the two hardest moves. Let's see if I can link some moves into it and moves out of it, and then both for the same sections, and then let's see if I can link these two hardest moves of it together from a move before, and then it's like, okay, well now I've got I've done all the hard climbing. I've just got to add extra bits to it.
Yeah. Interesting. And I mean, I'm just trying to think if you did that with Story of Two Worlds. Because obviously you did the dagger, and then you've got a really obvious, 3 or 4 move sequence.
Yeah.
Did you ever do it from kind of in between the 2 points from, do you think?
I think it was
Because it's quite hard to pull
hard
on.
to pull on there.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
I don't necessarily think I did.
Okay.
I think I just was trying it from the ground.
Yeah,
Once I'd worked out all the moves and I'd linked the 4 moves together. But for me, if I'm going from the ground, I'm aiming to go to the top.
Yeah.
So I'd probably always be going to the top.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I couldn't think of on that boulder that you'd been able to, or you'd worked it. But I mean, what is your general approach? Would you try and do stuff from as close to the ground as you can, or does it depend on the boulder? And sometimes you just, okay, I've done it from this point.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
I mean, I find once I've done it in 2 overlapping sections, and then also, for instance, if it's a 6 move boulder and the hard move is move 3 and 5, if I've done it from move 3 to move 5,
that's enough for you.
Oh, I can go from the ground, as well as having done 3 to 6 and 1 to 3. It's like, okay, I know I can do all the links, so it should be fine.
When you go into sessions, do you have, like on a project, you have a plan like that? Or is it, okay, here's the link I want to make this session?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's, here's the link I want to do, here's the moves I want to try and piece together. And I think as well, for some reason, I'm just better when I'm going from the ground.
Okay.
I find I don't have that same try hard when I'm doing a move, which is great for working problems out, because I'm not trying as hard. I've got to find the easiest way to do a move, whereas when you're going from the ground, you've already figured out the easiest move by being not trying as hard.
Yeah.
So then you've just got to try hard, but I find it hard to switch on that try hard when you're just working moves.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, I guess I've known quite a few people like that over the years. Like Ash would be the same. I mean, I'd see Ash. He would try boulders, not do 2 or 3 moves.
Yeah.
Go from the start and do the boulder.
Yeah.
And I saw him do that so many times. It was just like he knew. I mean, I've done it as well, but not ever to the extent that he.
I guess it's different when if it's near your hardest max grade to when it's.
I mean, he was doing it at 8A.
Yeah.
When he'd climb 8A or 8A+ when he climbed 8B.
Yeah. See, that's mental. To think of you doing that when you've on an 8B+.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Or me doing it on an 8B+.
Yeah,
I mean, I
can do it sometimes at 8A. Yeah. I can be like, okay, I've almost pretty much done that move, or maybe I've not done the top, but the top looks alright, and I'll go from the start. But yeah, he was. I mean, I guess that maybe just showed how physically strong he was relative to,
his grade.
He climbed 8B, but he was physically an 8B+ or an 8C climber, I think. And sometimes it was the opposite with Ash. Sometimes it was like,
how are you not putting this together? And you'd faff about for ages, but then when you would do it, you'd be like, you could have a conversation with you while doing it and just like chat through it. It was easy.
I think a lot of it's just in your head.
Do you think?
I think most of climbing is your mental state, and if you're not in the right mental state, then you're not gonna do the boulder, like no matter how strong you are. And I don't know why that is. I found that can be the case, and I don't even know what that mental state is.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to get there every go, because if I did, I'd do every boulder.
Yeah.
But sometimes you pull on, and you're at the top, and there's no rhyme or reason as to why.
And when you've done like some of the hardest things that you've done, have you felt like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, or as in you've just suddenly woke up at the top?
I have done for some of them, and some of them I've had conversations with myself in my head while I'm climbing the boulder, which is a weird thing where you're just like, oh, just fucking do the move already. Like, what's all the fuss about?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, for the trident, I had to really dig deep, and I remember being in the position and saying things to myself in my head, and I remember the things I said, and I knew that it would get me to do the move, and then I just did the last move, and I was like, that's that.
Well,
it's done.
So yeah. I mean, I can remember boulders where I've had thoughts, but not ever like the thought being, you were gonna do this right now, or some kind of real sort of pushing yourself.
But it wasn't
in a way
like
to
the
do it.
things that I was saying to myself to do that boulder was nothing to do with climbing. Like, it was nothing to do with the move. It was nothing like, oh, put your foot there. It was something completely different that I knew would make me do the move. It would just get me into the headspace to do it, and I don't know why, but it was the first time I said it. It was the first time I got to that move and said that to myself, and I did the boulder, and I was like, whoa.
So sometimes stuff just
clicks.
Just works a certain way. Yeah.
And I don't think saying that to myself will ever work again.
Yeah.
Like, those words were used up to do that boulder.
There you go. Well, at least it worked.
Yeah.
When you go on trips then, like, so you said now you just went to Switzerland, you did Vecchio and try in Unison. Did you have specific goals? Were those things things you wanted to try?
I had 3 boulders I wanted to do, and the goal was to do 2 out of the 3 of them. Right. So it was Vecchio, Off the Wagon, and Unison. Right. And so in essence, I failed that trip because I didn't do 2 of them. I did Vecchio, and then I didn't do Off the Wagon.
Yeah, so you got 8B plus an 8C. Yeah. In what, 10 days, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah. I think it was a little over, so maybe 17 days. Okay. So you got a fair amount of time. Yeah. The weather wasn't great.
The weather looked bad.
But I don't think that's a good enough excuse to have not done them sometimes. Okay. I think I'll use that. Okay. If someone turns around and go, oh, why didn't you do it? It's like, well, the weather was shit. Yeah. But in my head, I know I could have done them. Like. So
okay. Then how many sessions did you have on Unison? And
I probably had 5 or 6 sessions on Unison.
Dry sessions.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
But 1, I wasn't in the right headspace. 2, 3 of those sessions were after sessions on Vecchio.
Right.
So I'd already had a 4-hour session on Vecchio, and then I went and tried that for 2 hours. Okay. It was like, so they're not. I didn't plan that trip well.
Okay.
There was I just didn't have good tactics. It was probably the worst tactics I've had on a trip.
Why?
It's just a head game. Like, my mental state on that trip was just not great. Right. And I don't know why. I was having a great time, but I just...
To do with stuff outside of climbing then?
Yeah, outside of climbing and to do with climbing. Like, I came onto that trip knowing that I'd almost done Vecchio before. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'll just walk up and I'll do it in a session. 3 sessions later, and I was trying my ass off to do it. Yeah.
I just assumed you'd done it, like, bam, straight away.
Yeah. And I assumed myself that I would have. Yeah. And
so you just took a bit of expectation in.
Yeah, and I think that was the downfall of the whole trip.
Wow.
Because I expected to do it in that one session, And so I almost disregarded. And this is what Dave said to me. He was like, you got to respect the boulder. It's a hard boulder, and I wasn't respecting it.
Yeah.
And
expectations cripple, don't they? They really do cripple you at times where, you try something before, you're like, I was pretty close to that.
Yeah.
And I was tired, it was end of the trip.
Yeah.
I'm 2 years better, 3 years better at climbing now. I should be able to like just bosh this out quick and then move on to the other stuff. Yeah. And it's that mindset that kills your trip and kills your psyche stone dead.
I was certain, because the last session I had on Vecchio, it was the first session I had on it, first proper session I had on it, and it was after 4 hours of trying off the wagon. So I was absolutely cooked, and I managed. And
that was the first time you ever tried Vecchio. Of this trip?
No, that trip was the first time I properly tried it. I'd had dabbled where I just pulled on and went when I was like 16.
I think we tried it, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we tried it, but I didn't think I properly tried it because I was psyched on Versace.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, okay, and I almost did it after 4 hours on off the wagon. Last day of the trip, absolutely cooked. So I was like, oh, it should be absolutely fine, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think that, as you say, the expectation. You got to.
So then, you tried it. What, first day of your trip?
First day of the trip, tried it, didn't do it.
Rest day.
And I was like, well, I'll do it next session. It's fine. And rest day, came back, didn't do it. I think I went and tried off the wagon one of the days as well.
Right.
And then at the rest day, tried it, didn't do it. I was like, oh, what is happening there? And then basically had to talk to myself like, look, you've expected it to happen, and it hasn't. So now you've got to think that you're not as good as you think you are, and you've just got to go and actually treat it as a hard boulder. I think in my mind it wasn't a hard boulder, and it is a hard boulder.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you sometimes you got to actually realise, no, treat it as a hard boulder, not as your warm up.
Yeah. So you think like the cascade effect of that just kind of do you think maybe, I mean, I've done it as well, where you think, here's my timeline, the first day of my trip I'm going to do this. You're probably like, I'm going to do Vecchio and then move on to these other things. So did that maybe from the outset then just, do you feel like did that?
I think it also affected my whole mindset, because I was like, well, I'm this good. Going into the trip, I was like, I was stronger than I've ever been. I was like, on that 50, I'm still not as strong on that 50 as I was before I went to Switzerland. And so in my head was like, if I can't do Vecchio in the first session, I can't do any of the other stuff I wanted to try.
Wow. So it did affect your confidence as well then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I remember I had the first session on Vecchio, then I had a session off the wagon, and it was a decent enough session. And then I had another session on Vecchio, didn't go well. And then I had another session on off the wagon, and we went there, and I maybe tried it for an hour, and was just like, why am I even trying it? Like, what am I doing here? Almost.
Yeah.
And
you just didn't feel like you could do it?
It was deflating, I guess. And I think a lot of the time I just try and forget those situations, and I just focus on the positives. And I think that's very useful.
Yeah.
You just, okay.
Put them out of your head.
Put them out of your head to try hard. But it's not the reality of the situation. It's not just sending hard boulders constantly.
Do you think sometimes it works? Like sometimes you're able to put those things out of your head. Were you not able to?
I wasn't able to that
trip.
No.
Yeah.
And then I went and tried Flash Flood, and just got beaten down even more. And I was just like, what am I doing this trip?
Yeah.
And then that's what made me realise that I just like trying hard boulders. And I think maybe in my head, 8B isn't that hard anymore.
It's easier to fail on 8C than it is to fail on 8B.
It's so much easier to go and try an 8C and fall off.
Yeah, I get this as well.
Yeah, I'd much rather be falling off an 8C than falling off an 8B.
Yeah, and I do think then, I wonder about my mindset when I have that and when I think about that, because I think then I'm not like giving myself the chance to succeed on the stuff that's in that at that level that I probably should try and push myself to do. But then I think it depends on the boulder as well, doesn't it? Like, you know, realistically, are you going to be more motivated to try a world-class 8C unison.
It's not even try, it's do.
Or
What would
try
you
or
rather do?
Yeah, okay. Do a world class 8C or an 8B that you're like not, flash flood.
Yeah, I wasn't that bothered by it.
It's a pretty easy choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And whilst I do get that, and I agree with you, I sometimes think that I've found myself in this situation sometimes of going to boulders and being way too willing to walk away from them too early.
Yeah.
And have trips where I try loads of boulders and just walk away from them. And I don't like that.
But I think I don't try enough boulders for that to happen for me, because I don't invest my time and energy into too many boulders on a trip. Now anyway, I want to do a certain boulder, so I'll just invest all my time and energy into that boulder.
Yeah, you're pretty selective, I'll give you that, because even when we went to Fiona and you said I want to look at foundations and I want to look at the other thing, solitary days, and you didn't even try the other thing, did you?
I just looked at it and went
onto it.
I was just like,
I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that. I was like, I'm not doing that in 10 days. I looked at foundations and went, probably could, and then did.
Yeah, I think, it's being a bit selective, isn't it?
Yeah.
You rock up on a trip somewhere and you think, okay. So on that trip then, this last one, did you, you tried flash flood, you did Vecchio, you tried unison, were those, and wagon, were those the main things? Did you try anything else?
I did some slabs, and that was it.
Yeah. Really? So you didn't try anything else, like in the sort of...
No.
8B to C range?
No.
So 4 boulders in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's pretty...
I think what I did wrong was trying unison after trying Vecchio. I think maybe it's for me. I think for me, I can't focus on more than one boulder at a time. Like, I should have put all my energy into Vecchio, but in my head I was like, I'll do Vecchio quickly, so I'll do it, and then I'll just try and get money in the bank on unison, so I'll go have a session on it. But I should have just put all my effort into Vecchio, done it, then switch focus and put all my effort into unison,
right?
And then it might have given me a better chance to do it. Like, the weather wasn't great, and I probably couldn't have done unison even if that was the case, but I would have had a better shot at doing it, personally.
So you felt like you almost just sort of go into unison after sort of failure, quotation marks, not doing a boulder, it didn't really help you.
I don't think it did at all.
Interesting. So you think maybe if you just had been like, okay, I'm gonna stick with Vecchio till I do it, you get the success on that, and then you say, okay, now I'm gonna take that into the next thing,
whether that was off the wagon or unison.
That makes sense. You're building, aren't you? You're not just sort of speculating in a bunch of different things and not actually getting anything done.
I think that really depends on the trip and the situation as well.
It does.
Massively. I say that, but some trips you're just like, well, I can't do this, so let's just go do a bunch of 8As. And I think you've really got to be able to read what you can and can't do. I think I'm pretty good at working out, I can do this, or I can't do this in this time period.
But I find that interesting, because I mean, in that 10-day trip to when you did foundations, in that first session you did all of the moves, just about,
I think so.
It certainly didn't link much.
No, I didn't. I may have done all the moves.
But you still, after you're like, okay, first session, I remember you saying, I mean, I've done all the moves, next session I'll try and link whatever 2 or 3 sections maybe, you said, and you said, okay, if I if I do that, I'll try a third session, sort of thing.
But I think for me as well, once you're in 2 or 3 sessions deep,
well, you're
in there. You may as well carry it on to the end.
There's no time to do anything else other than maybe have a day or 2 where you just run around and try and do 8 days.
Which I'd rather fail on the 8C than run around and do 2 8As.
That makes sense.
Even if, for me, I'm not very good at doing more than one boulder in a day.
Right.
So even if I then switch focus and was like, I'll try to do as many boulders as I can in a day, probably do 3 8As. I'd rather get close to an 8C than
why do you not think you're that good at doing multiple boulders in a day?
I think I just get psyched too much when I've done one boulder that I'm like, sweet, that's my day, I'm done, happy days.
I'm the total opposite.
I know you are. It's an amazing thing to watch.
And maybe that's I don't know. I think to me that shows sometimes maybe I just lack confidence until I've got it, and then when I get it, I build on it really well.
I mean,
but
just
it takes longer to get it.
Hearing like some of your days, I find it absolutely insane. Like the day you did Boogalaga. Big Paw,
Dreamtime Stand, and a couple of other 80 pluses. Yeah.
I could never do that, but I just find it insane how you just manage to like almost not do very much for the trip, and then you just do everything on one day.
Yeah.
You always do it as well.
I've had that a few times where I've just not done anything. I mean, the
like Magic Wood
trip I did from Dirt, it was 3 weeks in the end, and I think I had like one day where I didn't try from Dirt, and I did like a couple of other 8As.
Yeah.
Or I tried one and I didn't do it, and I think Craig had tried it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll come back to this another day. And then on the last day I did Dirt, and I was like, oh, should we drive to Brione? And then I did like 4 other things, and I guess it's just psych then when I've done something, all the pressure goes. And I find it really hard. I have to restrain myself. I'm like you. When you're trying something hard, it can be hard to be on a trip with other people that are climbing a boulder every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we are lucky when we've generally been on trips together. We've been doing a similar thing.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like, oh man, I'm missing out on all these really cool things that the other person's doing.
Yeah, I agree. But then, if you want to do the boulder enough, you don't. It doesn't bother. It doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I know I need to rest, so this 8A doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not interested in it because my focus is on this instead.
Like when we went to Magic Wood and like Leo and Dom were there, and that you hadn't been there before, did you?
No.
So so I guess that trip you kind of did a bit of both, really, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because you did some 8A to 8B stuff, and then also tried. And you did New Baseline.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that maybe that was a trip where you combined both of those
sort
of approaches.
I mean, I was absolutely stunned by that Magic Wood trip because I did not expect to do any of the stuff I had done. So it was just like, well, I'm just living on a cloud right now, and I'm just floating up all these boulders. So just may as well carry on doing it.
It just kind of built again, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's mad. I got one more question, and then like a couple of rapid fire ones.
Yeah.
Is there one piece of advice you'd give to people who want to improve their projecting?
Specifically. Projecting specifically. Every session's a learning session. Try and take one piece of information from that session to the next session, I'd say.
Okay. Don't get bogged
down by if you have a bad session. Like, if you get there and you don't feel strong, don't feel like you have to go when you feel strong as well. Like, I've had a training day and then gone and tried my project.
Really?
Because sometimes it's worth going and trying your project when you feel knackered, because you might find some easier beater, or it's useful for your body to feel knackered on these hard moves.
Right. Or less pressure as well.
And there's less pressure because you're like, well, I know I'm not going to do it today, so I may as well just try some hard moves.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's something I've tried to do a bit, or encourage people to do a bit, is not going to sessions on a project and put in, like, if I don't make progress this day, it's a failure.
Yeah, expecting an outcome.
Go out and do a boulder that maybe is around your base level, and then go and try the project, and then at least you come away at the end of the day. Well, you go into the experience on the project being like, right, just done a boulder, cool.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And then you're kind of like, you're a bit more relaxed and a bit less reliant on that project in session going well. And then at the end of the day, you're like, cool, I did a boulder, and I maybe made some progress on.
That's a nice way to look at it.
Cool. All right, we got a quick rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
This or that.
Okay.
Yeah. Fan or leaf blower?
Leaf blower.
Training or rock climbing?
Rock climbing.
Aesthetics or movement?
Aesthetics.
History or holds?
Holds.
Tactics or technique?
Technique.
Heel hook or toe hook?
Heel hook.
Ooh.
Easy.
Will or Aiden?
Oh, is there any context to that? Oh, Aiden then.
Fred or Gnarly?
Oh,
I know your answer on this.
gnarly.
Yeah. Woods or web?
Web.
Mountains or coast?
Coastal.
Grit or lime?
Grit.
Furia Air or Instinct VS?
Instinct.
Video beta or someone else to climb with?
Someone else to climb with.
Project or mileage?
Projects.
Cream first or jam?
Jam.
I don't get it. How would you put cream on jam?
Because you don't spread the cream on the
dollop.
You put a dollop of
Tom
cream
said
on.
This yesterday, I don't get it. Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Over my head, Bitcoin.
Redhead or brunette?
No comment.
No comment. Fair enough. No comment. Board or splat?
Board.
All right, mate. Good. We're good. Thank you very much, my man.
Thank you very much for having
Pleasure.
me.
Good work. See you later.
Hope you enjoyed this chat with Solly. If you did and you enjoyed the podcast, check out our Instagram or stonelineclimbing.com for more. See you in the next one.